Alright, well we should be live now.
Yep.
Okay, so welcome to ANZ Combined Racing League's Formula Renault Gold Cup. We're here at Zhuhai for round 4, which is the penultimate round of our championship. Currently we have got Gecko on camera, and with a good welcome to Night Pegasus tonight. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you, Woody. Looking forward to this. I had a big weekend, did a bit of racing myself yesterday, so keen to watch some Formula Renault. See what comes of it. Been interesting weeks the last few weeks, and as we have seen, anybody can win at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to quickly just ask, you've got that tick on the audio in the party too. I forgot to mention about that.
Yep.
Just in case.
Yes, all professional here.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we miss that, but
we do.
Yeah, so it's basically at the moment, yeah, definitely saying that it could be anyone's race. We got Dread 501 currently leading the championship, 30 points in front of Aussie Carter's 32 in that number 3 A&M Racing, which is Scott Gecko's teammate. And with the 2 drop rounds, we're basically looking at Aussie Carter's needing to win both these 2 races here at Zhuhai Pegasus to probably draw level with Dread 501. So it's all up to Aussie Carter's tonight. The penultimate round before we move on to Circuit of the Americas next week.
That's right. He's got his fate in his hands, and a tough ask. Dread's a fierce competitor, and as we've seen in previous series, he's hard to beat. So just depends how distracted these guys have been through the week with the release of ACC. How much time will they put in? I think whoever spent the most time on here this week's going to win. So looking forward to that battle. And Aussie has beaten Dread a couple of times, so it is possible. We'll wait and see. And of course, there was that famous race where Dread pipped Aussie on the line by 8 1,000ths of a second. So it's close.
Yeah, and that's the round that is really going to maybe haunt Aussie if he can't get these 2 wins under his belt tonight, because that's just the fractions of a seconds that racing can be all about to change those results. So obviously Aussie doesn't want to see that happen again tonight, so I'm sure he'll be aiming to have a clean run and ink out every little bit of performance out of those A&M Racing Renaults.
Yes.
And the other big battle we've got is actually with Aussie's teammate Gecko in the second of the A&M Racing with Dado Racer in the number 20 Scuderia Rapper Olio car. They're only separated by 3 points for the battle for third. So we'll be looking forward to seeing the battle play out throughout tonight in these two races, which was 17 laps in distance around this 4-kilometre circuit. So looks like it's going to be wet for the first race, Pegasus, and then probably just the heavy clouds in the second race. So it could throw up anything in this first race we're about to see.
Yeah, that's it. And the battle we've got Gecko and Dado has really been determined by luck. Gecko's had none and Dado's had it all. So interesting to see how that plays out. And then of course, you throw luck in there, and then of course we've got a wet race to start with, which we've seen anything can happen. It'll be interesting to see how they cope. I'm just looking at the times here. They seem to be running pretty similar times to, probably only maybe 1 second, 2 seconds off their wet weather times in practice. Oops. And maybe there's a bit of residual water there, or the bananas have been out once again. 2 cars off.
Yeah, could have just caught out Dado with the power. We were commenting about that in practice around the turns 8 and 9. It can be very difficult sometimes getting the power down, and Dado will obviously, with only 4.5 minutes remaining in qualifying, will obviously want to try and get close up to the field, because during the unofficial practice, not unofficially, official practice we ran on Thursday, Dado was fairly fast in the wet, and he was sort of second to Dread. So both Aussie Carters and Gecko, they didn't want to get their their gloves wet, so they didn't actually turn up on Thursday night. So it'd be interesting to see how those two go, because they're an unknown quantity at the moment in the wet.
Right, unknown quantity. Yeah, maybe they've been practicing away in secret. Rented the circuit out for themselves through the week and ran a private practice session. Yeah, so and who else have we got? So we got Matty Seeking in here, of course, and Metal Drive. Metal Drive had a great race a couple of weeks ago. Matty Seeking's there and thereabouts. Both of them potential wild cards in the mix. And Dark Lord he'll be looking to improve after having an abysmal round last week. Oh, sorry, I say last week, it was a fortnight ago, of course. We had a little 24-hour race in between. So there's three guys there that could just throw a spanner in the works for these guys, unknown quantities.
Yeah, definitely. Metal Drive got his best result coming third. The final race there at Road America 2 weeks ago. And obviously a round that Dark Lord would like to forget after being taken out in both races. Just being an innocent bystander, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So obviously looking for fortunes to change for Dark Lord. And as you said, the inter-team battles between CMDR Series and Matty Seeking in the ZR 12 Motorsport car, both 5th and 6th in the championship. 5-point difference for those two guys. So yeah, we'll look forward to seeing what happens in this race between these two guys. In practice they were fairly close, and they weren't budging, so definitely no team orders for those two. They're there for pride, I think.
And very different driving styles. Matty appears to be pretty consistent, tends to hold it together for most of the race, whereas Commander Cirrus, he likes to push and just seems to have just a little mistake every now and then, but then able to catch back up. So quite an interesting race coming up. And look at that, with Aussie Carter's on pole at the moment.
Yeah, that's a sensational time, with obviously Gecko in third. But getting to Matty Seeking, he's still our only gamepad controller user within our league at the moment. So when we sometimes go on board, you'll see those steering wheel changed fairly quickly and don't look natural in their inputs. But he's doing not a bad job on controller, Matty. And
that's an amazing effort. That's an amazing effort.
Yeah, currently 6th in the championship. What can Gecko do here in the A&M in the second car? He's a little bit up here, looks like.
Yep. He's got a second and more to try and pull back. A bit of a wiggle there. We've seen Lewis Hamilton do that in qualifying last night and cost him pole position. So we don't need those little mistakes. I'm not quite sure. Coming onto the start-finish line now. And he may get another lap in. Yeah, he will get another lap in. Improved slightly, but not enough. Has he got third tied up? I'm not quite sure. Matty Seeking's gone ahead of Dado. And Dado's improved a bit as well. So,
Yeah, Dado's right in the meat of a ZR 12 Motorsport sandwich there.
I wonder what that tastes like. Old and tough.
Oh, well, we won't go there. We won't divulge on Dado's old age, but yeah, definitely it wouldn't be the most young tasting meat, that's for sure.
More of a hogget than a Springland. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 5 cars out on track. Just watching Gecko, we'll follow him through. I think he'll be the next across the finish line. So we'll finish his lap.
Yeah, it's just
runs
through
wide
turn
on
10.
the dirt. He's trying hard.
Yeah.
He's still up though.
And that turn 10 is where you get a lot of pace in this track if you can get a good run out of there. And this turns 11 and 12 is very tough, especially the entry into turn 11. It backs onto itself. It's almost a hairpin. And then a quick kink through turn 13 and then 14 in the final corner onto the main straight.
Yeah, I should have pulled up the speedo for this. Coming across the line. Who's next? I think that's Dado. Commander Cirrus just crossed the line.
Dado now.
Just gone into third. Cirrus, he's done.
CMD Cirrus in third. Dropped Gecko to fourth.
That's not Dread. Aussie Carters has come to the pits. Comfortable with... Who we got left? Dado and Dread on the track. So what can Dread do? He's gone to the pits. He's happy with...
Oh, it's coming in the pits.
Second. Leaves Dado. What's he going to do with his final lap?
Yeah, coming onto the final, onto the pit straight.
And
the
this
main
is gonna...
straight, taking the run up to the line. And being the last on the track, we're not going to actually see. I actually went straight to the pit, so maybe he was invalidated time. I'm not too sure.
I don't think he improved. No, he didn't. So finishes 6th. So congratulations to Aussie Carters. Takes out pole position for race 1 here. On second, Dread, and a great lap from Commander Cirrus, exerting his dominance over his teammate Matty Seeking. He's in 5th. Doc Gecko had a few moments, maybe could have been faster. Had a few moments on the track, so he's in 4th. Dado Racer didn't quite get it together in the dry. We've heard that he's good in the wet. Middle Drive in 7th and Dark Water in 8th. Both looking to do well here today.
Yeah, so Dado taking out the final spot there on row 3. So he's not too far behind. And he'll find himself though on the inside. I think the pole is on the outside on this track, so yeah, he could get a bit dicey into that first corner. You know, turn 1 in the wet, so we'll have to wait.
Yes, the dreaded turn 1.
Yeah,
and in my experience, it doesn't matter what category you race, how long the race is. Turn 1 is just death.
Yeah, it can be very, very tough, and depending on how they go with their start, and yeah, trying to pull these cars up after they've, as we've said before, a lot of us sim racers, it's hard to get your muscle memory into race mode after you've just been trying to go flat out in qualifying, and now you're back into cars with not optimal temperatures there, the tyre pressures aren't quite there, and you've got the brakes aren't hot, so everyone diving into the first corner is fairly tricky. So
yeah, takes patience.
The wet weather, the wet track, Pegasus is going to probably times it by 5, that risk factor, so definitely it's going to be interesting.
It is, and I just quickly flicked through the fuel, quite a range of fuel strategies here. Dark Lord on the lowest. I've had a couple with 56, 57 litres. Someone in there, and interesting, Dado's on 57, and he's the man that never wants to run out of fuel again. And I think...
no, that's right.
Oh no, Gecko's adjusted his. He was on 73 there at one stage. So, not quite sure.
Probably with them just having to load up on their tunes at the time.
Yeah, and also they won't burn as much fuel because they're not going to go as fast in the wet as they do in the dry. So... interesting to see how fuel strategy plays out.
Yeah, it will be. Obviously, they're not going to be aiming to pit, but we've got performance impact and damage on. So we're about to go for round 4 of the Formula Renault 3.5 Gold Cup, race 7 here at Zhuhai, and it's go.
And they're off.
Looks
and
like
they spread.
Dredd has had a good start.
Oh, Aussie's gone backwards. Someone's on the grass there.
Yeah.
Oh, has he got damage? Aussie Carter's our pole position, man. Not good.
He's
we've got more off here.
Cirrus
Dado
looked like he's had a moment.
Yep. And who else has dropped down? Matty Seeking by the looks of it. And there's Aussie Carter's come through on him. So that leaves Dredd in front with 2-second gap already, and we're not even into like turn 5.
Yeah, and what could I say? The biggest one, the winner was Dark Lord. He actually had a good. Yeah, the winner was Dark Lord. Finally, he had a bit of luck there in 4th. Doesn't look like he's been involved in any incident, so hopefully he can continue on without getting any incident as the faster guys try and make up their lost positions. As he's obviously got CMDR Cirrus behind him.
Sorry,
Drive in 3rd, so he's in a good position in 3rd at the moment, and he'll be hoping that Dark Lord can hold these angry pack behind and give a little bit of a buffer. we always know that the wet races always play a level playing field, as Cirrus just runs out there wide, and it's very hard to keep the car on the straight and narrow coming back in.
Aussie Carter's made up a position then. And we've got the two teammates, 7th and 8th, so still a battle here between the teammates. Who's going to reign supreme? One behind the other. But yeah, disastrous start for a lot of guys in that. Not quite sure what happened. Standing start, wheel spin, wet weather.
Yeah, and they went pretty much three wide into the corner, and Aussie Carter's got himself out actually on the outside on the grass and just couldn't pull it up and took the safe option to run that around the outside. But at the same time on the inside, he had Dado Racer and I think it was Cirrus on the inside, and they must have had a little bit of moment on the inside of that corner. And Dado's just trying to hold on to it there.
Oh yeah,
as he's
those Dark Lord.
Dark Lord.
It's that corner again we're talking about. It's that turn 9 coming into turn 10, so went
That's
there.
It.
Oh, Dado going for a dive up the inside. Can he get the job done? Dark Lord gives him space. Good driving there. Dado gets the job done. Well done. And we heard that
nice
from practice.
Driving.
He's fast in the wet. Now, Aussie Carter's going through as well. Oh, they touched there. Oh, did he rub his tyre?
Looks like their wheels touched a little bit.
Yeah. And we're starting to get back to some normality now. Some quick laps there.
Yeah.
No, not really.
But what's Aussie given up now? He's given up probably about a 9 to 10 second gap there on Dredd, who's obviously the man that he was trying to beat and had pole. But as we said, he found himself there. Pole's probably not the position they wanted in the wet here at the moment, being located on the outside of the track. And we did see Dredd have a magnificent start. Oh, he's just pulling up, and he's just had the big hit there on Dado on turn 7. Yeah, that's going to give him a bit of aero damage. Yeah, performance impacting damage set on, so he's going to have to be careful now with a bit of aero wash on the front of his car. He's going to have a loss of grip.
Yeah, as we see come out of Cirrus now, all over the back of him. He's run wide, so yeah, obviously he's got a bit of damage. Cirrus has gone around the outside. I think he's got that easy, has he? Yeah, Aussie Carter's let him go. And they're running DRS as well, so a bit of an effective aero, maybe aero wash in that run into the back of Dano there with the DRS and the wet.
Enabled.
The braking
right. Yeah,
right.
it could have been. Yeah, and they do come in fairly hot into turn 7. Normally these cars, so yeah, definitely might have locked it up in the wet and slid into back of Dado. So hopefully Dado doesn't have too much damage from that incident either. Currently in 4th, Dado. Dark Lord still in 5th position, so he's only dropped 1 spot at the moment. Started 8th and made his way up to 4th, and now currently...
Oh, someone on the side of the road. Dado's pinned it.
Yeah, that was Dark Lord, I think, or was that Dado?
That was
Dado. It is Dado.
He's got no nose cone.
Oh, that's costly for Dado, so that battle that he's been trying to get that 3rd position on the podium off Got Gecko is going to really hurt him now with Got Gecko in 2nd.
Yes.
Currently.
We talked about the luck involved with these two, and it seems like the luck has reversed. All right.
Oh, this looks tasty, this little battle with Matty Seakin and Aussie. It looks like Aussie's obviously been able to pass actually, no, it was CMDR Cirrus that actually passed Aussie earlier. And this is Cirrus's teammate Matty trying to put one on Aussie.
Shows him the nose, lets him know he's there. Track looks pretty slippery. And do you think we're going to build up the puddles, and when do you expect puddles to appear on this track?
There's a few little puddles that come up here on the inside a little bit, but during...
Aussie's gone wide.
Yeah, and Matty's made the most of that. But during their practice that they ran when it was wet, they seemed to handle the puddles on the inside of turn 14 not too bad. Other than that, there's not too many bad puddles at all. I guess if they're offline a little bit, they're going to run into them. But generally, it's a fairly flat track, and the water disperses pretty good.
Yeah, so not like we saw at Road America. in the practice session.
Not at all.
Oh,
In that,
he's got it wrong there, mate. He's seeking. It's given Aussie a chance to come back. And we've also got Commander Cirrus coming up on Dark Lord. Who are we going to go to? I'm going to pick the wrong one. Well, Cirrus has got the job done. So we'll stay with these guys. As you can see, they're just up the road there. Aussie's all over the back of him here.
Yeah, Aussie will be. Oh, there's Dark. I think it was Dark Lord. He's actually had a moment.
And he's gone around again in the background.
At the moment. Very hard to get going sometimes in these cars. Give it too much of the jandle, as Scotty McLaughlin likes to say. Give it a bit of jandle. Love. That's right. And currently Dredd is driving a faultless race out in front with a 5-second lead over Got Gecko.
Yeah, a true professional, this man.
Yeah, and I think that he does put in quite a bit of time, obviously, with the cars, and comes to the Thursday night practice session, and usually pretty quick out of the box. So yeah, either he's got a lot of talent, or he does spend a bit of time also just getting his cars race ready, because he's sort of he's fully prepared each round. So it's definitely shows that you need to get to that level to obviously perform week in, week out like Dredd does.
Yeah. All right. Then we have got Gecko in second. Luck's with him this week. Running pretty well. Got away. Got a good start. Got into second. Maintaining his gap between him and Metal Drive. And like we talked about, is currently winning the battle with Dado for third place in the championship. He's just got to maintain his speed and his rhythm now, and he should bring it home in a good podium position.
Yeah, just extending his lead on Dado. But Metal Drive, from his we won't put too much curse on him, but after his solid third position at Road America at the last race, finds himself in third here at the raid at Zhuhai. So he'd be very rapt about this at the moment.
Yes.
As he saw obviously Aussie Carters and Dado fall off early in the race, and he's taken the most out of that and grabbed hold of his opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, he's just got to stay consistent now, and he's got the podium wrapped up. He's got a 6-second gap over Commander Cirrus. As we turn to that.
To Cirrus.
He did.
He's lost his nose. There it is.
Put it in a wall.
Ready for the marshals to pick up that nose cone. So it looks like he's going to have a visit into pit lane. Definitely not a circuit you want to run without the nose cone. So that's going to bring, obviously, Dado back into a frame. And there goes Dark Lord to come back up into 6. So that's a good run from Dark Lord at the moment.
Yes.
And Dark Lord himself, if he just goes around smoothly, he should find himself hold that 6th position, because he's got a good gap over Dado, and knowing that CMDR Cirrus is going to be into the pit lane this time around, he can just mosey around and pick up a good 6th position here.
Yeah, that's it. Keep it on the black stuff, keep out of trouble, and things will come your way. So we head back to 4th. We were looking at 4th when 4th stuck it in the wall. So Matty Seeking's taken over that position and now is winning the battle of the teammates. And all this on a controller as well.
Yeah, and in the wet. So Matty Seeking would if he keeps where he is, he will leapfrog CMDR Cirrus, his teammate, into 5th position into the championship. So he'd be smiling underneath that helmet at the moment, the inter-team battle at the Zaya 12 Motorsport team.
Yep. But we're not quite halfway through the race, and anything can happen, as we've seen. We get back to Aussie Carters. He'd be fuming, wouldn't he, with the start? But now he's got to get his head down and just persist. Persist. You've got to be in it to win it. You can't give up and keep traipsing around. I mean, he's got 6 seconds to catch Matty Seeking. He was a bit slower by the last lap. Looking through those times, everybody seems to be running about 128s, except for the first two and Dado. So they all seem to be around the same pace. But Yeah, could this be the championship slipping away right here? We're not sure, but it definitely looks that way.
Yeah,
Dark
he
Lord
really
we
needed
talked
to make
about.
sure he could get on top of Dredd, but he's got obviously the second race, which we know he was fast in qualifying in the dry Aussie Carters, so hopefully he can benefit a good race, and him and his teammate Gecko, if they can get a good qualifying and put Dredd down into third or fourth position and keep him there, that'll really benefit Aussie Carters' run to the championship.
Yep, and we got someone's getting close here. Oh, we've got Cirrus is coming out of the pits. Dark Lord
It looks
closing
like Dark
in.
Lord is catching Aussie Carters. Actually, it was 2 seconds faster than Aussie last lap. So Aussie's obviously got some damage and trying to push on without pitting. So
Yeah,
Dark
he
Lord
did run
will
in the
be,
back of Dado.
really loving this. Yeah, and he hasn't pitted after he did that. So definitely Dark Lord is catching him at a good rate of knots here, and Dark Lord would be ruin that moment when he had that spin earlier, because he would find himself in this position if he didn't spin. So he's going to have to try and make a move on one of the faster guys here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League, Aussie Carters, who's obviously nursing a car there with a bit of front end damage. And Aussie won't make it easy for Dark Lord, so it'll be a lesson, obviously, in how to overtake one of the true leading drivers in our group. Look at that spray, Pegasus. That'll be fairly hard to concentrate at the same time.
That's it. How do you see your braking markers? It's hard enough following the car in the drive.
Oh no!
And there we go.
So, and he's lost his wing, so he's obviously going to have to go into the pits, and that's what happens when the carrot gets dangled. Sometimes you push that little bit harder. He's trying to get that power on nice and early, and and that car's crabbing a little bit too on the grass, so that'll be an entry into pit lane for him, unfortunately.
Luckily he didn't have too far to go, but yeah, that's it. It's it's one of the skills of motorsport. It's like to go faster without changing anything. Obviously, like you say, he's just got a bit eager on the pedal. Oh, who we got in front of him there?
I think
Carter's in the pits
Aussie
too.
Carter's is getting damage repaired.
So
took the opportunity there, because the other guys are actually were a lap down. So Aussie's taken this opportunity after seeing probably Dark Lord catching him and coming off the track. Probably thought, well, I might as well go in for pits because he's going to come in as well. But they're just going to hopefully get out before both Dado. Dado overtook Dark Lord as he was coming into the pits to put himself back on the same lap. So CMDR Cirrus will be fairly close to these guys when they come out.
Yeah, and if we look at the map, I think Cirrus will be the first white dot, and Dado will be the second white dot. So we'll look at the map, we'll see as they come around. I think the red dots are the ones that are a lap in front.
Yeah, that's it. And then this looks like Cirrus just coming through now. Yeah, it sure is.
So he's made up a couple of spots.
Cirrus.
Yeah, so that damage must be pretty severe for Aussie Carters. It didn't look that bad, and we've got Dado coming through too now. So Dado picks up another spot. As here we go.
Oh, he's
Aussie
Carters
Carters
close.
out. Yeah.
And Dado's got the run on him here, but he's going to have to take it easy, tread carefully.
Yeah, and he'll have warmer tyres as well.
And he's just collected Aussie Carters.
Oh, so he said, look, you did that to me, I'll give you back one.
And it looks like he wants to redress Aussie, but he's picking up the pace again, Dado. He did slow down. They would be in chat together, so Aussie wouldn't be too happy with that, but also these things do happen.
And we get our battle that we were watching previously, Dark Lord coming back on Aussie Carters, so all happening at the back of the field here.
Yeah, and Aussie obviously will have some damage maybe at the back of the car, but hopefully he should be able to see himself finish this race. But it looks like Dado is going to be the one that's going to lose out here big time. These guys should have the pace on Dado.
Yes.
As we've seen, these cars don't like their damage on the front wings here on the wet track here at Zhuhai.
Alright, so Aussie closing in on Dado. Yeah, look at Dado's wing. He's got a bit of a bend in it there, so he's going to struggle. Let's get on board, see how difficult it is to make the pass. Coming up. Oh, they've all gone into the pits.
Oh, they're taking their time, yeah.
Barklaw goes past
So
in the background.
So this isn't good for these guys. So they're obviously going to be fighting out their final positions here tonight at Zhuhai for race 1.
Yes. Yeah, so as we've seen before, when it's wet, always brings some interest to the track. Okay, so we've seen where they goes at. Head back to Dredd, just plodding around, doing his thing. Starting lap 13 now, it's only 4 laps to go, or 5 laps to go with this one. Showing clean heels again. Pulled out another 5 seconds since we last visited him over Got Gecko. Doesn't have to push too hard, but at the same time you can't relax too much because you lose your rhythm, and that's when things happen. Look at Got Gecko, totally benefiting from everyone's disasters tonight, and about time this man had a bit of luck. We've seen some shocking rounds from him in results, so things are playing into his hands.
Yeah, just pushing a little bit hard, but Metal Drive as well, having a nice clean run. But he's got Matty Seeking only 10 seconds behind him, and seems to, actually just going to say, I thought he was been catching him, but the last lap from Matty Seeking was a 30 compared to the 27 that Metal Drive pulled out. So maybe Matty had a little bit of a moment that last lap.
And Metal's actually catching Got Gecko here, so with 5 laps to go, or nearly 4 laps now, this could play out to be something interesting. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, could be very, very interesting indeed. And Metal will be obviously trying his hardest to get onto second spot here on the podium.
Yep. And then the last car on the lead lap, Matty Seeking, doing a great job. As I said, just being consistent, keeping it together, and we'll get on board with him, hey, and we'll have a look at that wheel work we were talking about. I can
definitely,
organise the camera. Oh, not that one. Not that one.
Probably on the roof will show the wheels.
There we go.
As you can see, the pit straight does have some puddles there on the left. He's keeping it right in the middle of the track.
And they don't have a pit stop sign there as he went across the line.
Yeah, there's obviously a glitch in the rain because it was there during the practice stream that I had. So, yeah, it seems to have popped up again.
Was surprised. Whoa, huge understeer there. Trying to keep it together.
Yeah,
of course,
the track's getting wetter and wetter as the race goes on. So the guys are obviously struggling to find that optimum grip around this track. But obviously up in front, Dredd's still doing 25s. The last lap there, he just finished his 14th lap onto the 15th lap and he did the 26.4. Oh. And Matty just letting his teammate through to be on the same lap as him now. So that's not for position, guys. That's just Cirrus coming through to unlap himself.
Yep. It looks like it's position, but it's not. There's a lap between them. Holding on well there.
Yeah, just looking. Yeah, so at one stage there, Matty Seeking in this inter-team battle that they're having with Cirrus, he actually had about a 3-position difference. But Cirrus is able to come through after both Dado and Aussie Carter's clashed, forcing them to have a second pit stop. And Dark Lord himself as well is moving on through in 6th position. And that's number 9 D-Box car. This will be his best result he's had in this championship.
And that's fantastic. That's what we like to see. People improving week in, week out. We can't all win, but yeah, if you can keep improving, then it's inspiring and it keeps you coming back the next week. So what have we got now? So we've got Dado and Aussie are back on track. These guys Is Aussie? No, so Dano's got a good straightaway on him at the moment.
So these guys are actually 2 laps down off the lead. The leader's on their 16th lap, and these guys are just coming around to finish their 13th lap to start their 14th lap.
Yeah, so fuel shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, not at all for these guys.
I think Dredd is he about to lap Aussie again? No, no, someone else I saw in the background. So here
comes Dredd. Where he is now, he's out of turn 7, and he's run down to turn 8, and then turn 9. Turn 8 is actually, you think it's about a 90-degree corner, but I think it's just a little bit more than 90 because it does catch a few people out. And obviously this turn 9 opens up a little bit, but it's so easy to run a bit wide and hit those curbs and have a bit of grief, because you do really want to get a big run up this little short straight into turns 10 and 11. And again, the turn 10 is probably a 160-degree corner, not quite 180, but fairly close to a hairpin there.
Yes. Yeah, so I've never driven this track, so all new to me. Looks like it'll be interesting though in one of these cars, especially in the dry. Don't fancy running in the wet. But it'd be good to give a flog into a car around here in the dry.
Yeah, so Dredd's just picking up his final lap here, and with a nice 19-second lead over Got Gecko. And he'll be enjoying to obviously try and finish this early, Dredd, and go and have a nice warm shower ready for race 2, which obviously there's going to be no rain predicted there, so the guys will obviously want to have their race suits spring cleaned and dry cleaned and all nice and dry for them. And that number 11 Lugio Motorsport, was that Metal Drive having a little bit of a moment?
It was. He's just got to hang on for another lap. He's got a decent gap.
What's he got there at
11 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, Matty Seeking and I think Matty Seeking and Commander Cirrus, they've he's done his best lap so far. I think they just swapped positions on the track, not positions in the race once more. So Commander Cirrus still having his few moments. Yep.
Yeah. So
and down at the back
the
here,
just catching him out.
Aussie Carter's catching Dano, but he's going to run out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, they'll have another lap to go because I don't think Dredd has lapped them, I don't think. There's Dredd, he's just finished the race. Actually, he has, so yeah, they're going to run out of time, I think. So well done to Dredd in that number 11 Luigi Motorsport car. And,
I'm just trying to find who's
in that A&M.
Dark Lord comes across the line.
Finishing a lap down. Yeah. And 6th for his best position so far, and Got Gecko in 2nd. So turns have tightest turn for Got Gecko.
Yep.
And Dado Racer just following in front of Aussie Carters, who's come back, finished the race from pole to last. So probably a race that he'd like to forget, Aussie Carters, especially when it was definitely a round that was going to make and break his championship. And again, to equal his best result, Metal Drive in 3rd.
Yep, congratulations to
him in the number 18 T Rexurgi racing car. And Matty Seeking coming out on top of their inter-team battles over CMDR Cirrus.
Yes.
We should see him come up a lot closer now, probably within 5 points difference coming into this round. So he might be now only about about 3 or 2 points behind.
Interesting times.
See a change of their positions.
Could do. So Aussie Carters completes the first to last challenge once more.
Yeah, so he won't be happy with that award, that's for sure, popping up on his screen. But anyway, these are the things that sometimes get. But look at that time, obviously, in the wet that Dredd was able to do 124.371. That's outstanding lap. Some guys can't even do that in the dry. So very good time by Dredd, 5:01. Got Gecko kept it clean. We did seem to have a little bit of off-track moments, but kept it straight pretty much, the same as Metal Drive. So they've obviously picked up that podium, but then everyone else below that pretty much had a little bit of a 360 or pirouette around their during their race, maybe one or two.
Left a bit of
And,
carbon
coming
fibre
together.
somewhere.
Yeah, and obviously the worst was obviously between Dado Racer and Aussie Carters twice. They sort of come together, and
Yes.
yeah, not a happy race for those two. So we'll continue on so the guys can rehash and get ready for race 2, which we'll be back fairly shortly. We'll just end this stream and change the title, and we'll be back ready for qualifying and the race very shortly. All right, see you soon, guys.
Yep. See ya. Ciao.